Oh my gosh. This sucks. So, as you know, there's a virus going around, and it is incredibly important that we keep ourselves safe as well as others. So, today I'm going to be making a mask. The best mask to use in public is a surgical mask, but they're not always readily available, and if you don't have access to them, this mask is one of the best homemade options. I think it's very, very important that whatever mask you do use, if it's made of fabric or if it's homemade, it has multiple layers, because then there's going to be a higher resistance and the viruses aren't going to be able to get through the layers as easily. So today I'm going to be using a template from treasury.com. I will put that in the iCard if I can, and I will also link the video. I like this mask because it's structured, it fits my face pretty well, and it's very comfortable. And because it's structured and fits so well, it also won't let the virus through around the edges of the mask as easily as some other masks. This mask does use a sewing machine, so if you have that, great. If you don't, I will link a mask that doesn't require a sewing machine to make in the description or in the iCard or both. I'm not sure. I haven't really figured out iCards yet, but if I do, I will put it up in the iCard. Okay, that was a long intro. Let's get into the video.
For these masks, I recommend using a cotton fabric quarter because we don't really need a whole yard of fabric. So I started by tracing the template 4 times onto the fabric, and I did 2 for my outside design and 2 for my inside design. Then I cut them all out. It's a lot easier if you have sharper scissors, I know from experience. Next, I cut the template along the dotted line to make the inner layer. I cut 2 pieces of interfacing. Interfacing helps keep the shape and can also act as a filter. But you can replace that with another layer of fabric, just use the larger template instead. I ironed this interfacing glue side down onto the inside of the inside fabric that will go in my mask. The glue side of mine had raised dots, but yours might be a little different. Then I ironed all the other fabric so they would be flatter and easier to deal with. Then I set up my sewing machine. This one is from Brother. We got it many years ago and just recently found it, but if I can find it, I will link it in the description. I originally wanted to use white thread because it was going to match with my mask, but we ran out, so I ended up settling for a beige thread, which ended up still looking okay. Okay, this is where I made my first mistake. Do not put the different fabrics back to back. Instead, put the same fabric back to back and sew along the convex curve like I'm showing. Next, I trimmed and clipped the seams, which is basically cutting little slits in the extra fabric, which makes the seam more flexible, I think? But all I know is it's a good idea and you should do it. And then here is where I realized my mistake.
Oh my gosh. So I just realized I made a huge mistake. I sewed these together instead of the same thing. Oh no. Guess I'm gonna have to take out all of the thread and put it back in. This sucks. Okay, let's do this.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Okay, so the correct way to do it, and not the way I did it, is to put two of the same kind back to back. So the pretty side together, and the part that you're not going to see is going to be on the outside. And you're going to do what I just did, except do it right this time. Okay, so I kind of messed up. There's a hole in here, so I'm gonna sew over that part again just to close that off. It's not gorgeous, but it's gonna be on the inside, so as long as I can sew that closed, it should be fine. Okay, let's see, is that closed now? Oh my gosh, seriously, what the heck? This is unbelievable. Seriously, this is so annoying. Okay, this is a disaster. It looks like this. It's mostly okay.
And then I went back to the ironing board and I ironed the seams. I think the tutorial I mentioned earlier can explain how to do that a little bit better, but I pretty much just placed the iron at the seams and tried to flatten them. Next, we're going to put the two fabrics together with the pretty side on the inside. Then we're going to stitch around the two long sides and leave the two short sides alone for now. We'll deal with those later.
Okay, so I went around the sides. Oh, wait, what the heck? Oh no, what happened? What? Oh my gosh. Okay, so the thread unhooked from something, and it looks like it, yeah, I can just like pull this all out. Yeah, the top needle, I was wondering why the spool of thread wasn't moving. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we're gonna have to do that again. I'm not gonna film it because I don't want to. You know, if I didn't mess up the first time, this probably would have happened and it would have been all fine, and I wouldn't have wasted tons and tons of thread. Not literal tons, but you know what I mean. So, also, in case you didn't hear, my mom's in the kitchen, so if you hear some stuff, that's what it is. We're back. Okay, let's finish this up. Come on, we're almost done-ish. Okay, now the ultimate question is, did it work? Looks like it. Yes! Look at all the loose thread. Oh my gosh, maybe I shouldn't do that.
So now I'm turning it inside out through one of the side holes. I have to be really careful and slow here so I don't rip anything.
Hey, it doesn't look too bad. It actually looks okay. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to iron this again.
Yes, and now we're going back to the ironing board. Woo! And we're basically just gonna iron this so there aren't any wrinkles left. And so it looks nice. And now I'm finally gonna sew the sides. I folded them over and made sure both sides were equidistant from the middle, and then I stitched them closed.
So for the elastic that's gonna go around my ears, they didn't have the thinnest one, so we got the second one, the second size up, and they said you could cut it in the middle and it'll be the right size. So I cut mine to 6.5 inches because it looks like that's the amount I need for it to comfortably go around my ear. If I were to do this, that's like the most comfortable, I think. So I'm gonna cut this in half and then sew it on.
So I think the elastic I actually wanted was the 1/4 inch, but I actually ended up getting 1/2 inch. But this ended up working out great. When I sewed the elastic on, I used the same stitch that I was using earlier, but I went over each of the sides of the elastic 3 or 4 times, trying to go over the exact same line where I stitched the seam for the 2 shorter sides of the mask. And this is what it ended up looking like.
Okay, this is the finished product. I think it's so cute and adorable. It fits me so well. But make sure to stay safe, social distance, wear your masks, and have a great day.